Hey everybody, how's it going? Belinda Sandor here. Come on in. I'm just looking at my Voxer, and the ambassadors are telling me, Anne Marie is telling me that there might be an issue with you guys not knowing what time this event is, but it's right now. It's right now. So come on in. I have something interesting I think to talk about. So I just got back from a charity event at the country club. One of my friends bought a ticket, and the event was all about mental health. And the speaker was the guy. His name is Andy. I can't think of his last name, but he's the founder of Bonobos. Bonobos. It's a pant company. They probably make other things too, but I know them because of the boys and Greg wear their pants. And he was talking on mental illness, and he is bipolar and manic depressive. And so I learned a lot about that, and it was fascinating. And the thing the thing that I was going to talk about when before I went to this event, I hadn't really fleshed it out, but I thought, I was thinking a lot about willpower, and I was thinking about, how we rely on willpower instead of systems very often when we're trying to reach a goal. And, what I mean by that is, do I have the willpower if I want to lose 10 pounds to not eat the potato chips? Well, you want to put a system in place so that you have the food that you want. So potato chips are not the only option. So that's what I think about, like system versus willpower. So I thought, just go to the event, and this guy's going to be cool, and something will happen. Something will happen, and you'll know what you want to talk about. So I'm in the event, and he's fascinating. But what happened that I want to talk about is something that happened to my daughter. So I'm sitting there, and my Apple Watch makes a whatever they call that, it taps me, and it's my daughter, and she says, "I didn't get it." And what she's talking about is an internship that we had very high hopes for in Washington, D.C. She had 3 interviews just over the course of 2 weeks, really, really wanted it, thought that she was going to get it. 100% thought she was going to get it. Like, there was just this tiny, chance. I thought maybe not. But when she said it, my first thing that I said was, "You're kidding, right?" And she was like, "No." And so I'm in this event, and I can't. I decide not to stand up and leave. I said to her, in 30 minutes, I'm going to be out of this event, and I will, because I didn't want to. If I got up and left, someone would have come find me and see if I'm okay. I didn't want to do all that. So I got in touch with her at 2:00. But so I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, what am I going to say to her? What do I want to say to her? I can't, and a million things are coming through my mind. And this is the part about being a parent that they don't tell you about. It's like, where's the book? Because she worked hard, but she didn't get it. And she's disappointed, and she's sad, and someone was working with her on it to try to get this job. And I said, "Why don't you call Robin?" And she said, "I can't, because I'm going to cry." So I was saying to her, "Well, Robin's seen me cry, so, that's going to be okay." But anyway, she's going to ride her horse, and that's where she should be. That's where she works her stuff out. But the thing is it got me thinking, about the whole idea of what happens when it doesn't go the way we want it to, if we really want something. What happens, and, how long should we stay in the place of being bummed out? And how, and then I just started thinking about all the different times in my life where things haven't worked out. I mean, you can't really be, alive for long without having something not work out. And the thing was, the thing that I was thinking about was, the first thing that came to mind, because I have a fabulous husband, and I knew that the event would be over at 2. I was 15 minutes away, and, there were 300 people and not enough parking. I knew that going in. So I asked Greg, "Would you please drive me there? And would you pick me up at 2:00?" Because I had this on the calendar with you guys, and I didn't want to move it. And so he said yes. And so we called Emily. I just lost my train of thought for a minute. Oh yeah. Okay. So we called Emily, but here's what I was thinking. I just was thinking about Greg. So it took me 60 years, it took me being 60 to find a husband that I wanted for my whole life. I've always wanted like this husband that's like a dad. He doesn't actually drive a station wagon, but he would, with a Christmas tree on top. And he fixes stuff around the house, and he's got all these tools, and he's like sports, and he's like a guy's guy, right? And I just, it took me a long time. Now, if I had given up, after getting divorced, I could still be alone. I could still be alone. And I think about my first company that I built. Epic failure, financial failure. It was successful in other ways, but it definitely failed financially. But all of those things were the stepping stone to get where I am now. I knew Greg in high school, and he said to me, he said, it's too bad that we didn't find each other sooner. And I said to him, I would have eaten you alive. I would have eaten you alive. I had no idea what a special person you are. And it was just because of my upbringing and because of my stuff. I wasn't ready to settle down. And I had never really seen a successful marriage up close, and I had no idea how to create that. But the thing is because of all of the bumps and the bruises and all the things, I was able to have that and to experience this life with him. And it's the same with, my company. It was a really big deal to fail that way. I mean, you guys know the numbers. It was 6 figures of debt. It was just crazy. And I have no income coming in, and I got to figure this all out. And in the middle of moving 3 times in 4 years and getting divorced and all the taxes and all of that. But I didn't let it stop me. I just had this hunger inside of me, and I wasn't going to let go. So yes, in all of those cases, there was mourning that had to happen. There was anger. And that's a little bit, I think, where Emily is right now. She's mad, and that's good. Mad is better than a lot of other things, because anger can fuel us to get into action. And so, jobs that I've had, or relationships, or even college. I had to go to college, so I went to college the first time. That's a whole long story, but I couldn't pull it together. And then I went to night school, couldn't pull it together, went to community college when I was 27, started to pull it together. And then I went to UVA at 29, so it just, everything in my life. And I think a lot of people, there's starts and stops and starts and stops. But what happens is we compare ourselves to other people on Instagram, right? Or people on Facebook, or people, how they bring themselves to wherever you see them, and everything's perfect. And then we feel less than. And then the whole cycle starts, right? The imposter syndrome, the trash talking in our head, and all of that. And so I just want to shine a light on that today. I want to shine a light on it. And what I want to say is, you're not alone. It's not too late. You can have what you want, and you have to lean in, and just know that, nothing, all this overnight success we see and all this glamour stuff, it's not real. I really don't think it's real. I've just never seen it. No, sure, people get lucky, like people who made masks during the pandemic, all day long, right? That was lucky, but they were poised, right? They were poised for that. And then, what happens in the world sometimes just, makes something blow up in a good way. So if you're thinking, I can't do this, I've tried it before, what's everyone going to think? How can I start a business as a virtual assistant? I just want you to think again, because there's so much possibility out there. There's so much hope. And I would love for you to let me take you by the hand and show you how this is done, so you can have all of that, right? You can have all of that, because I've lived through it, right? I've lived through it. I mean, I know where this is sort of a bad saying, but I know where the bodies are buried. I know where the mistakes are. I know where the challenges are. And I would love to help you get to the next level in your business, or the first step, really, with my help. So if some of you guys are still thinking about VA school, I would love to talk to you. Let me know. A few of you actually were texting me while I was out today, and I'm going to reach out to you guys in just a couple of minutes and set up some time to talk. And just know that enrollment is open until Monday. We're going to have some more events. Absolutely. I believe today it was just announced that for those of you who, well, it's really two things. If you watched the Kickstart Challenge and you still have questions like, is this for me? Friday at noon, we're going to have a 3-hour event. It's going to be the 5-day Kickstart Challenge, like squeezed into 3 hours. All right. We're going to do the homework. We're going to do a lot of stuff. It's a little shaved down, but it's very valuable. So, excuse me. So if you have questions, come. If you're in VA school and you want some more juice, come. If you totally missed the challenge and you have no idea what I'm even talking about, come. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good. There's typically more than 100 people come, and it's going to be exciting. So we've got a comment I just want to see. Yeah. All right, Debbie. Great. Okay. So thank you for sharing that re-college. Yeah, I've had a similar journey, and I'm terrified I'm going to fail again. I've signed up for VA school, though, determined to be back to myself. So you know what, Debbie? Show up, sit in the front seat, and ask questions. That's how I shifted my college experience. I used to sit in the back and act like I didn't care. And I got really bad grades. I was a solid C student in high school, which I am capable of so much more than that. And then what happened was, this is the other challenge, is then I went to college and I thought, it's a fresh start. I'm going to be perfect at this. I couldn't be perfect. So every time I didn't get a good test grade, I just thought, well, I can't do it. And I quit. I quit after a year and a half. I had terrible grades. I was flunking out because I stopped going to class because I couldn't do it perfectly, which is insane, right? I didn't learn any of these lessons by reading a book. Believe me, I tried it all. And then I got a job, and that was good. I was a secretary, and I worked for a good company, and they would pay for college. And I had huge imposter syndrome because I didn't have a college degree, which, by the way, to be a VA, you do not need a college degree. My degree is in architectural history and historic preservation, so I am not using that. But and then I went, I started trying to go to night school. Fail. Not able to go. I'm tired. It's nighttime. I'm driving 45 minutes after working all day. And it's going so slow that I don't see how I'm ever going to get any traction. It's going to take me till I'm like 800 years old. And then I got into a situation where I didn't have to work for a few years, and I started day school at a community college, and I started getting A's in math. Like, I took algebra again. I took I took art history. I took things that I'd never taken before, and I started to get A's, and I had a 4.0. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, I have what it takes. I have what it takes. And how I did it was I sat in the front row, no kidding. And I asked questions, and I started talking about my success, and I started to do what I said I was going to do. Right. I said I was going to master these classes, and I did, and I got help. And maybe because I was older, I felt more comfortable with the professors and being kind of friendly with them, because some of them were, when I went back to college, some of my professors, were younger than me, or whoever the teacher's aides or whatever. But, and that really turned it around. So you can do it. And I want you to all of you that are signed up for VA school, really to sit in the front row and ask questions, and don't be afraid. And if you are afraid, send me a private message on Zoom while we're in there, and I'll just read it without your name. There are ways around it, because it's not too late. But don't try to do it perfectly, because that will trip you up so fast. Just give it your best every day. Get up again, right? Again. That's the deal. That is the deal. Fresh start every day. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for coming. I really appreciate this. I hope this was useful, and I am going to go change my clothes. I'm in my little country club outfit. I'm going to go put on my regular clothes and get down to work. All right. So for those of you who are already signed up for VA school, this is Wednesday. We have our study hall at 4:00. You're welcome to join us. The new students, come on in. And for the rest of you, I'll see you probably tomorrow. All right. Bye for now.